You've probably already heard about this incredibly talented Ossetian prospect who stormed into the UFC with 2 explosive knockouts. Azamat Beykoev isn't just another newcomer. He's a force of nature, tearing through everything in his path. He's more than confident that Ossetian wrestling is far superior to the Dagestani style. He ran through Rizzi with such overwhelming power that no one was left doubting. This is a true contender. And after witnessing his ruthless ground and pound inside the cage, it's hard to argue with that. On the ground, he's like a hammer. Every move filled with raw aggression, every strike a declaration of dominance. His opponents are overwhelmed, unable to defend or even breathe under the pressure. But what about his striking? One might think he relies only on wrestling, but his second fight proved otherwise. His opponent was a fearless brawler, charging forward from the opening bell, hoping to overwhelm the Ossetian with relentless pressure. But he miscalculated. Beykoev stayed calm, didn't flinch under fire, and patiently waited for his opening. Loder himself rushed at Beykoev, trying to tie him up in the clinch. But that's where he got his answer to whether he'd make it out unscathed. Beykoev showcased brilliant defense, and Loder was left clueless on how to deal with it. It threw off his game plan and left him slightly disoriented, something the Ossetian sensed immediately, and without hesitation began to take action. A minute and a half into the round, he unleashed a brutal overhand right, like a sledgehammer crashing into the jaw. His opponent staggered and began to retreat. That's when the real hunt began. Azamat turned into a predator, sensing blood. Without pause, he chased his target, closing the distance step by step, unleashing a flurry of powerful finishing strikes. Each punch was sharp, precise, and filled with intent. For a full minute, Beykoev didn't give Loder a single second to breathe. He relentlessly pounded on him without letting up, overwhelming him with a chaotic storm of strikes. Loder was completely lost. He couldn't figure out when to engage, let alone how to defend himself. His game plan fell apart as the Ossetian tore through every attempt at resistance. Beykoev was striking from every angle, breaking through any guard, mixing up his shots with frightening precision. Loder looked dazed and confused, unable to understand where the punches were coming from, as if he were trapped in a whirlwind with no way out. When the Ossetian slightly eased the pace, Loder tried to turn things into a clinch, but all he really did was give Beykoev a moment to catch his breath. And even though some sharp shots started flying back from Loder, it was already too late. Beykoev had found his rhythm. In Loder's eyes, he had escaped the trap. He felt like he was back in the fight. There was a flicker of hope, a sense that he had weathered the storm and regained control. But his momentum was building, and there was no stopping him now. And then, after a full minute of relentless pressure, a clean right hook landed, and the opponent collapsed like a tree cut at the base. And then came the absolutely merciless ground and pound. The referee rushed in, stopping the fight just in time to prevent further damage. This victory became the ticket to the life Beykoev had always dreamed of. His joy was impossible to hide. He's one of the most genuine and emotional fighters in the UFC.